Hey, Fitzy here, back at it again. I got an F100 Fender here now. I had to replace all the rust on the bottom side of it. Stick around, I'll show you how I did it. Here we have a fender off a F100 from, these fenders were on Ford trucks from I think 1954 up to 79. This one's going on a 50s truck. We got some major rust repair here that got to be done to it. They're pretty well mostly all known for going here. This is where the running board mounts. So what I'm going to do first, before I get anything, I'm not going to cut nothing out. I want to clean up this entire area here and get it all nice and clean, so I'm going to start taking measurements and get it all ready. So I'm going to get that started first. All I've done so far is I removed all old filler and the old jagged pieces and everything out of it, and I gave it a quick trim up just to get rid of any jagged pieces that were stuck off or going to be in the way, because I'm not too worried. I don't like cutting everything out of there. Tries to keep the shape to it. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out a piece of steel that'll come to about here, come up to here, and it'll come down about to here and over to here. I'm going to overlap this whole panel and do the cut and butt type of thing. It's a bit trickier around these because you got this rolled edge, because it's got a tendency to want to push itself away from each other. I'll show you that when we get to it. But all I'm going to do now is just going to measure up and a length, a height and a length, and cut a large piece out here out of this piece of steel, and then just start shaping it to this shape here. I'm not worried about the bottom yet, or over on this side. I'm not worried about that. I want to get this shape first going along here. Some people will try to bend this lip on the bottom. No, I don't like doing that because it's so round, because there is no straight edge on this because the running board flows over to this here. So trying to make this in one piece is hard. And also down here, if you bend a 90 here, the problem you're going to run into is that you'll have to leave it extra long because you don't know if it's going to line up here or not. If you cut it perfect, I'm going to cut this piece and it's going to be longer. Again, I cut everything bigger. It makes life a lot easier to work with it. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to cut up that piece of steel there. You got a curved edge here. You're trying to find the overall length. You can roughly do it that way, but as you can see, you're always running into this and it gets a bit tangly at times. Now I am making it over the size of it, but one little thing I picked up is seamstress tape, measuring tape. I just got a little short one here. I can lay it out where I want, so it'll take the shape where I want it to go, and I can get exactly the measurement I want. It's 13 inches. So a nice little thing to have in your toolbox. You can pick it up. Dollar stores has them, and they're great. This one here got metric on one side and standard on the other. So for you guys across the pond, that would be 330 millimeters. Or 33 centimeters. Anyway, measure that up and get it cut. Okay, I got the piece of steel all cut out. It's bigger than it should be. It'll just fit on here like so. It'll fit on that there and roll on. Now I got to roll that edge up around that, and all I'm going to do is I have this piece of pipe. I have 2 or 3 pieces of this kicking around. It's just old scrap pipe. I've been meaning to build a bender. Gene Winfield made a bunch of them. I saw him a number of years ago. I have the pipe here, and maybe I should make a bender for rolling rolled edges on steel. I've been meaning to do it, and I've been putting it off and putting it off. But anyway, all I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp that in underneath that there, and I'm going to roll that piece of steel to get a shape to fit to that. So I'm going to go do that. All I got done is I got this clamped to the bench on this end over here, and the weight of it alone is heavy enough. I can lift up this end of it, and all I'm going to do is take the piece of steel now and just roll it gently over that. As you can see, the shape is getting there. If we look up across there, you can see that's pretty good up along there, rolling around. And then it needs to roll back on this edge here. I'll bring that when I work it in. But like I said, just going to overlap it. And of course, I'm going to leave it long here. Come down here, trim this off after. And same with on this end down here. Because what's going to happen here now is this here, as I weld it, is going to want to pull this way. I'll show you that now. Most times now when we overlapped, like in the gas tank door video, all I did is I went around, I spot welded all the way around. But when you're dealing with a curved panel, things change. Because when you start cutting this and dropping this metal, the metal wants to move this way, so you cannot weld it on down on this end of her. You start up on this end here, and you actually got to weld it as you're going and cut as you're going. So the metal might want to move. That's the reason why you leave it long. Because if you had it perfect, and made all the pieces perfect, when you moved it and start moving this down, everything will change. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Here's a little sample I got done. If you look here, that's an overlap there now, and the two lines up. When I move this over here and butt weld it, you can see how much that drops. So like you gotta watch that, because if you spot welded this, for sakes, on down here, and then cut this up here on top, this is not going to want to fall because it wants to move down. The whole thing wants to move down on you. Right? So something to remember when doing the cut and butt on a curved edge. I'll show you how I does this now. Now the panel's all rusty and along here. It's rusty right along this section here. So I'm going to want to go up from this. It's not wise to try to butt weld right next to your rusted area, because it's just contaminated. Me, I try to get up where it's nice and solid. So when I put this piece on now, I'm going to move this up about an inch above where it's to. And all I'm going to do first is just clamp it on up here. I'm not concerned about the bottom edge. Don't ever be concerned about where it's going to go. I got this made. This is long enough down here on the bottom. Down here. This here overlaps down here. Up here it's snug, but as it goes along here, like the panel is not what you call perfectly straight now because of the way I got it mounted. Because up here I want it to fit nice on the top edge. All I'm going to do here now is put a couple of tacks here so I can get these vice grips out of the way. Turn the gas on first. Now, the thing about this here is, it's very hard to cut this on a 45-degree angle where there's a rolled edge. I can do this corner, but down here as it goes along the edge, you're on an angle, it's not going to work, so you're going to end up having to cut that on a straight. One little trick I'll do is I clamp the vice grips on it and you rotate it just like as small as that, and that'll bring that corner down. going to go ahead now and cut across here and spot weld it. As you can see, all this here is butt welded now up here to this corner. Now I need to start cutting down along here. I'll put the blade straight in here, because cutting it on a 45 here, the blade is going to go on a round angle and it's not going to do it very good. But you can see now what will happen is when I start cutting and wanting to push this downwards, this whole section down here will want to go this way. So that's the reason why I only got the clamp on it here now. And all I'll do is I'll cut this, let go of the clamp, and then push down on it there. Don't be afraid to go past it and push this part of the panel in farther to bring down the section above it. Sometimes you have to do that just so you can get it there. Use the vice grips to help yourself along. I worked my way down here, twisting the metal to get it, because you got an issue with it, because here on the back side, I don't know if we can see it here, we still have the metal here. So you got to actually bend this inwards with the vice grips to get it out of your way temporarily, so you can make all this flush mounted down here and then work your way down. So you can see how tight that is there. I'll just continue on down to here now and get this welded to about here. Then I got to work my edges here and my edges here. One of the advantages of leaving the large piece on the inside is you got a lot to clamp to. You can move your clamp around and you still got something to bite to in order when you're clamping something. If you had to cut it right tight to the edge, you'd only have that to deal with. There's an advantage to leaving that inner structure alone until it's ready. It's going to come out anyway, whether he cuts most of it out or a little bit of it out. At least with a lot of it there, you still got lots to clamp with and you can work with it. So I'm going to cut this section here now and weld that. Okay, I got it all welded up along there and all welded along here. Now I got to work on this edge here. If you look back, you can see the actual panels after turning on me. There's nothing lined up here. One of the advantages is leaving it all long. So now what I got to do is I got to trim off this outer panel so I can find the inner panel, and then I can cut and butt that. My high dollar scribe, look. No fancy tools for me. Now we're into the outer panel. I had to cut her again because I was off a bit. But hey, I'm human. Now I'm going to cut that and butt that. It just fell out on the floor, look. There's a rusty piece there. Now, all that's installed, I'm going to go on the bottom and cut the bottom off. Now, I got it marked here where I want it cut here. Up here, I got the rolled edge here, got to be cut off, marked here. So now I need to cut this off here to get the straight edge on the bottom. So now I need to find a straight edge or something to use on that. This is what I got here. Old wiper blade thing for measuring wipers. I got it around the garage for years. But what I like about it, it's flexible and it's a straight edge. So I'll just clamp that on there and rotate that up there. There we go. Line it up where I want it. I make do with things I find. I'm not one for wanting fancy tools. To me, it's always been about the job, not so much the tools. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here now. Okay, I got that trimmed off and ready to go. Now, if you look at this here, you can notice that there's not what you call as a straight edge there. So if you had to bend this on a 90, it would have been really sharp here. There is a slight concave along there if you look up across the panel. So I got that. So now I need to make up this lower section here. Now, a lot of people would, of course, make a template, cut it out, cut it, trim it, sand it, fit it, the whole 9 yards. No, I'm not going to do that. I got this piece here cut up. I just notched it to fit in this corner. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay that right there like that. and weld it on the inside. It's a lot faster. I've done this type of thing before. I got something to hold on to and everything. Just take it and fit it on there. Give yourself lots of room on the inside that you can trim off. So you've got to add to it and just weld it on. Now I got it all welded on the inside here, and there's a nice crisp edge right along here now, nice flat edge. It's one of the advantages of using like a flat piece. That'd be up and down if it was a small piece around an inch wide. You got a nice edge, so now what I'll do now is I'll take the grinder now and I'll go along here and I'll clean all this off and cut it all the size here, and then I can mark it on the inside, the width that I wanted, and I can cut that off in there. And then I can come back and I can weld this outer edge here, and I can dress it and put a nice roll on it. Now I got a nice little edge around here. I took the grinder, just knocked the edge off it so I won't cut my hands or whatever. But now you can see it's this large piece on the inside. And it's a real nice flat edge along here with a nice crisp edge. All I need to do now is come in here and make this the edge that I want it to be. All I'm going to do with that is take a marker, bring it into where I want it to be, and just drag it along like that using my finger as a guide. Easy as that. So all I'll do now is I'll just cut that much of it off, and I'm left with the bottom lip that's supposed to be there. You may think there's a lot of wastage here. I don't waste metal. This piece will go somewhere later on. I just find doing it this way is a lot faster, and I find I get a better finish on the end of it, because if this piece was this wide, by the time you welded all this on, this would have been warped up, and you'd be dollying it and all this type of stuff. By getting all this welded up on the inside and everything now, there's a nice job done to that now. It's nice and solid, welded on the inside. So let's get that cut off now. I'm going to start cutting it, and I'll cut as much as I can, but at this current edge here it's going to be hard to cut, so I'll just cut straight across here, and I'll work my way back to that, and I'll cut across there. All I'll do now is I'll round up this inner edge. There you have the bottom lip, all made, nice edge. Now I'll go around, I'll weld this up on the outside, and I'll weld up the entire panel, and we'll see what it looks like. got it all welded up. It's all cooled down. I welded up along the top edge here. I'm going to roll that off. So now I'm ready to grind it. I'm going to grind the outside of it before I weld the inside, because I find when I weld the inside, the same time I weld this, for some reason I got a tendency to distort this out here, and it makes this harder to grinder. So I want to get this all dressed up first before I does the inside. Now, been asked about this many times. I'm not being sponsored by these crowd, but everybody's been asking about these discs. They're Walter Flex Cuts is what they're called, okay? There's the part number, 15-L508, the screw-on ones. It's a pad on it, and it's angled. It's a grinding disc is what it is. It's really good for cutting down welds. I'm going to show you here. I haven't touched none of the outside metal. All I'm hitting is the grinding, the actual weld itself. There it is. I'll dress that in with a, I say a 24 or an 80 grit or something like that, somewhere along them lines there. I'm going to go ahead now and grind all this up. Now I've got it all stripped down. There's some spots here, right here and up along here. You're not going to get it the first try when you're doing this butt welding thing. You're still going to have spots. Don't try to cut them down any more than that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to re-weld these, and I'm going to re-weld them there. And then I'm going to grind it again. See, got it all re-welded again, all the spots I didn't like. Now I'll grind it all up again for the final time. There you have it, all welded up and dressed. All nice and smooth there now. Nice crisp edge on the bottom side. Inside edge nice and crisp. I went ahead then and I welded it all up inside. And just knock the heads off if you want to. You can probably grind that some more and fill it or whatnot if you want to. You can see where it's welded on the inside here. That's another one. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. Hope the tips were good, and until next time.